Hi, I'm Jeff Spock. I'm back with another of the focus videos for Amplitude Studios. This week we'll be talking about the factions, an overview of the factions in Endless Legend. And this is a really important part of the game. When we create a faction for Endless Legend, we basically have two things in mind. Well, several things in mind, but the major things are we want it to be familiar, but at the same time have a twist, something that makes it interesting. And that's both in the lore and in the gameplay. So what I'd like to do now is try to give a very brief, concise overview, which is difficult for me because I love this stuff and I tend to talk a lot, of the 8 factions. First one is the Vaulters. The Vaulters are a very science fictional looking faction. Basically, they come from a spaceship that crashed on the planet centuries ago. They survived one way or another. Now they're coming back up out on the surface. So they look very high tech, except they're using swords and crossbows. They focus on science because they're trying to rebuild their scientific knowledge, and they're very good at defense. So if you play the Vaulters, science, defense, looks a lot like these guys. Next faction is the Wild Walkers. The Wild Walkers are our elf faction. That means they have good ranged units. They come from the forest. They get special bonuses in the forest, but the twist is that they are very good at construction. So they're going to be going for a construction victory. The lore idea is that they're trying to build a spire up to the heavens to touch their goddess. Broken Lords are the next faction. They look like medieval suits of armor, but in fact they're empty. These suits are animated by dust, by the spirits of people who were once alive. What this means is the Broken Lords don't use food, don't need food. So that makes their gameplay very asymmetrical. What they do need is a lot of dust. That's how they reproduce, that's how they keep themselves alive. Next one, the Necrophages is sort of an insectoid zombie plague that's ravaging across the planet. The twist on their gameplay is they cannot use diplomacy, they're always at war. So what they have to do in lore is kill people, lay eggs in the body, that's how they reproduce. So no war, no population. Necrophage, very simple to understand, run away. Next faction is the Roving Clans. The Roving Clans are based all about dust, but not dust as a magical thing, dust as money. They're into currency, they're into cash. So they actually have control of the marketplace, they get a little piece of all the deals done in the marketplace, and they can even lock people out of the marketplace. So they're going for just a pure commercial win, making money, that's what they love. Next one is the Ardent Mages. This is our mage faction, hence the term Ardent Mages, thank you, Jeff. They are magic users, but they're a very special type of magic user. They have to inflict pain on themselves. They have to get into self-mortification to be able to separate the mind and the body, and that's when their spells are most effective. Those of you who are lore experts will realize this harkens back to the virtual endless. That is not an accidental occurrence. Next faction is the Draken. The Draken are gorgeous-looking dragons. Once again, hats off to our art department, who I think are amazing. The dragons, who in particular are the diplomats. They have a great deal of diplomatic power in that they can force treaties on other nations. So it's a very different way in which they're going to approach the game, in a way they're going to approach diplomacy. Last faction is the Cultists. This is an amazing faction because it was completely created by our community. Nosferatiel, who came up with the design for the Cultists of the Eternal End, Tellum, who came up with the city and unit designs, and Adazu, who came up with the ship and logo designs. And this faction only has one city, one single massive city on the planet, and they extend their power through the little villages of the minor factions, even if those villagers are in other players' empires. So thank you, that was the Cultists, designed by our community. So that's it for the 8 factions that will be out with the release of the game. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please leave them here or on our forums. We'll try to get back to you. We'll try to get back to as many of you as we can. Next week, we'll be starting in-depth videos on the gameplay and the game style of each of the factions. Thanks very much, and we'll see you then.